Everybody, I'm Bill Rhoden, columnist with Andscape.
And I'm Martenzie Johnson, senior writer with Andscape. Bill, it's Super Bowl week, but we're not in Santa Clara. We're at San Jose State University. Why is that, Bill?
We are where we're supposed to be, right here. Tommie Smith, John Carlos, that's one of the most iconic images in the history of sports journalism, and that's why we're here, just to talk about the significance of that, what activism means to each of us. We ain't here to talk X's and O's, we're here to talk revolution.
You were alive. I was not, Bill, during this time. What do you remember about this protest? What did it mean for you at the time?
Yeah, but that is real, and that's what I was looking for, because this is kind of intergenerational.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 18 years old in October of 1968 when Tommie Smith and John Carlos, who, by the way, were two of the greatest sprinters of their time. These brothers win the race, they go up on the stand, and then as the national anthem is being played, these cats raise their hand, lift their finger, and we were like, oh, look at that, oh man, God, what does this mean? So for me, it's like living history. I'm just curious, man, for your generation, what matters, what's important in your generation?
We're hyper aware of how black people are viewed and treated in this society. Now, the only issue I see with current athletes is that we don't have instances like this anymore, despite that heightened platform. And it's concerning for me because the world seems to continually get worse, particularly for black people, brown people, all people of color. And whether it's the amount of money that's at risk now, or they've seen what's happened to other athletes who do speak out, they're not using that microphone like other athletes have. Throughout the history of black people in this country, community means looking out for black people, whether it's your family or someone you're not even related to, cooking for people, making sure people are safe wherever they go. There was green books to help you travel to the South. That's what community looks like. I would argue community now, based on what I see athletes talk about, community is generational wealth. It's about accumulating as much capital as you possibly can so that your kids' kids, your grandkids won't want for anything.
We talk about generational wealth. You know, we'd all talk about people selling out and all that. Then I'm thinking, well, you know, this person has a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make that kind of money. You know, so I have taken a step back, but I do go back to Tommie Smith, John Carlos, in my generation, Muhammad Ali, Kurt Flood, people who challenged the system, and they did pay a price. And I got to think that a lot of black people are still catching hell. Like you mentioned, that hasn't changed. You know, and also, you know, Martenzie, you know, we're talking about, you know, things in the past. The NFL, which is now about 60 to 65% made up of black players, they just had a record 10 vacancies, and not one African-American coach was hired. So, and this is 2026. We're not talking about 1952. We're talking about 20. So the question becomes, even though the league is almost 60 to 65% black, what does that mean if nobody's willing to take a stand, nobody's willing to say anything, because everybody, getting back to what you said, I got mine, I ain't rocking this boat.
On one hand, we could talk about the Rooney Rule. The Rooney Rule does actually work. Before the Rooney Rule came into effect, there were 5 or 6 black head coaches in the history of the NFL. Since then, there's been nearly 30. So it does actually work, but it comes back to the person making the decision on who to hire. And practically every NFL owner is a white man. And we've seen throughout history, whether it's in professional sports or in any other type of industry, you're more willing to hire someone who looks like you or is around you than you are somewhere else.
There's pragmatism. And I think what we have to decide, what are the new tactics? Because clearly the old tactics of appealing to consciousness, that ain't working.
There is progress. I don't want to sit here and act like nothing has changed since 1968. When it comes to professional football, there are more black agents where otherwise they wouldn't exist, because even black players didn't think that black agents were capable of doing their jobs. You have more black general managers, you have more black coaches, not more black owners, but you have more black quarterbacks. So we're seeing progress in the NFL in particular, but now it's, can we go beyond representation?